You're listening to Real Crime, the Movie Sleuth podcast.
Well, I'm glad in my absence, nothing has changed.
Things changed.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess.
You're back.
Yes, I am. You guys ran something last week without me, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of funny, actually, because last week somebody actually chimed in because we didn't talk over the girl at the beginning, and somebody was like, oh, Scott's not there, so now you're not going to talk over the beginning at all. So we're like, damn straight.
Yeah. While the cat's away, the mice shall play.
Yes.
This is the lovely Nice. That was good, Heather.
Thanks.
This is the lovely, wonderful Real Crime podcast, smothered in onions for you again this week. And this is episode number 83.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
We've been senior citizens. We were senior citizens before we started this show.
Isn't it like 55?
55. I think that's when you get the senior discounts at
That's when you get
Bob Evans or
Denny's
some
likes
shit.
you.
Yeah,
Bob
something like
Evans.
that.
Can't wait.
Well, we haven't utilized that benefit yet. Like I want to go in there and be like, well, our podcast is on episode number 83. Can we get the senior discount, please? And they'll be like, what are you talking about? Leave. Go away. We don't want to talk to you guys.
I'm going to call the
Just
police.
bring me. I have all the gray. They'll totally.
Yeah, look at this. Look at these lightning bolts, right? Yeah, I'm really happy. We have Trevor here tonight and two beautiful, just built, bearded men in the studio. We got some serious hair here, and this is going to be, I'm really excited about this. It's like we smell our own. So yeah, Trevor's here. We'll be getting to what we're talking about here in a few minutes. Thank you for joining us tonight, Trevor. We'll learn more about you in a second here too.
No, you won't.
Oh, really? You don't want to? So this is Trevor. That's all we're gonna see. So all right, I'm Chris. Okay, I'm out of practice here, Chris. So what do we do next?
The news.
Oh!
Well, first, our sponsors.
Oh!
Make sure you check out the Flint Institute of Arts. Again, they've got some really cool stuff going on over there. Their spring film series is just getting started again. So make sure you check that out if you're out that way.
Yeah.
Or if you're not, get a hotel room for the night. Check out Flint. Yeah, there's some bad areas, but there's a lot of really cool areas too. And the FIA is totally awesome.
And that's what you did.
Yeah.
You
I got a
spent the night
hotel,
out
went
there.
out there, spent a little bit of the day there, and really nice people there. So
Excellent.
also projectorscreen.com.
The best.
The best.
Finest.
The
Only
best
the
store
best.
for projectors ever.
Ever.
Yes.
Ever?
And then
Ever.
we're going to be potentially adding another sponsor as Sellerman's in Hazel Park might be coming on as a sponsor also.
And that place is great.
Yeah. Yep.
Great. Been there several times, seen a bunch of bands play there. Those guys really are big into supporting the local band scene, which is cool for people like me. We're playing there in a couple months, as a matter of fact, my band. But the place is excellent. It's a brewery. And they brew all their stuff on site right there. You can see all the brew house right behind the drinking room, we'll call it. Excellent ciders.
Drinking rooms are normally called bars.
Well, okay, you're right. But the reason I say that is when you go there, it looks different though. It doesn't look like a bar. It's actually pretty cool. It's a different kind of layout. Sellerman's is excellent. Really cool place. Check them out. You'll like that. So I'm totally vouching for that. You can actually get. You can get stuff canned on site there too. If you want to take a 6-pack home, they'll can it right there on site for you. You take it home. So it's super cool, whatever you want. Check out Sellerman's. They're in Hazel Park on John R. Just Google it. We all have Google now. Just look up Sellerman's. You'll like the place. So yeah, I don't know if they're an official sponsor yet, but I love that place.
I think they're going to be.
Dan
we had
and
a pretty
those
good
guys-
I think
discussion
you
the
just
other day.
sold them.
What's that?
I think you just sold them.
Yeah,
I think
Dan
we
and those
did,
guys
too.
are super cool. They're great. They're really great people. It's cool.
We gave them a free shout out. So
Hell
how
yeah.
can they not sponsor this show now?
right.
They rule. Looking forward to.
So in
Going to
news
Sellerman's.
this week, Lars von Trier's The House That Jack Built just premiered at Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah.
And a ton of people walked out because the movie portrays mutations of children and killing women and all kinds of vile stuff.
Mutations or mutilations?
Mutilation, sorry. Yeah. Same kind of difference.
Now, is this
I
the one?
guess.
This is the one we were talking about a while ago, wasn't it? Or am I totally off the?
I think no.
Oh wait, go. Just keep going. I'll
Yeah.
shut up. Sorry.
Also, Spike Lee's Black Klansman got a standing ovation at Cannes.
Of course it did.
So it seems like Spike Lee is making a little bit of a return.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of cool because his last couple of movies have totally sucked. Also, in other news this week, Willow has a potential sequel in the works.
I heard about that.
Which
Oh, yawn.
Yeah. I mean, I love Willow, but
Yawn. Come
Really?
on. It was great, like, when I was 8.
yeah.
I love Willow.
I love Willow.
But have you watched it since you hit puberty?
No.
Exactly.
No, I haven't.
So
I really haven't. You're right.
no, it's a fun movie, but it's like 30 years later. Is a sequel really going to carry over well?
Probably
now?
not.
Well, everyone's trying to do it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
we have
Yep.
potentially Goonies 2. We have
Oh, God.
Labyrinth 2.
Oh, God.
And then they're talking about the Dark Crystal doing a Netflix series for it.
Oh, Dark Crystal's my favorite out of those, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, the Netflix series looks really good. Really good.
I hope it's just as dark and, well, Dark Crystal, but I hope it's just as dark and,
And
adult.
crystally.
Yeah, as the movie is.
All right. Come on, Chris. What are you doing?
I was making adjustments. I'm all caught up and tangled here.
Because one of us is...
I'm panicking.
Eat the mic.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Also,
Moving right along.
unfortunately, Margot Kidder passed away.
I know.
What the hell? I heard about that today. Yeah.
69 years old.
Poor thing.
Very unfortunate. And they said it was just kind of unexpected.
I read something today saying
Well,
that
it must have been. She was expected here next weekend for
Comic-Con.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She was one of the big guests for the
I read
Superman
something that
40th anniversary.
she said she was having flu-like symptoms the last few days. That's the last of that she meant. Somebody said that she mentioned that.
Yeah.
And now she's gone.
Yeah.
So that's a real bummer, man.
Yeah,
Sucks.
terrible,
Sucks.
terrible. Also, Channing Tatum, the Gambit movie, is supposedly going to get underway this summer. They're saying they may have a potential filming date for that.
Oh.
So I'm kind of excited to see him play that
I'm
role.
interested to see it.
Yeah.
It could be something totally different than what we're
Yep,
expecting.
yep. All right. In new releases this week, we have Deadpool 2. Yeah, our review is going to be up at 11 o'clock. I think you guys are going to like the way Michelle did this review. Kind of excited for
Tonight?
that. Yeah, it goes up at 11 o'clock.
Ooh, I'm
Yep.
excited.
And another movie called Show Dogs. So,
Show Dogs?
Yeah.
Why do I know what that is?
because there was another movie called Show Dogs
Oh,
before,
okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So,
There was.
Yeah.
It was the guys that did... Oh, I can't remember what it was called. Spinal Tap.
Okay.
Those
Oh,
guys.
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Or no, that was Best in Show.
that was. You're right. You're correct.
That was.
All right. That sounds like an exciting week of releases.
Yeah.
Well, Deadpool too.
Yeah,
Deadpool
Deadpool 2 will
I
be
enjoyed
cool.
Deadpool. That was fun.
So, suggested viewings for this week. I've got two.
Yay.
I've got two actually.
Here's where Chris
You're pulling
Fleck-
to me.
One is actually kind of shocking. The first one is I did see Solo
I was gonna say
today.
you're flexing your muscles
I'm
right
flexing my muscles right now. I'm under embargo, so I can't say anything, but I will suggest seeing Solo just because it fits into the context of the original trilogy, which we're talking about
Which
tonight.
we're talking about tonight.
Yes. And then the other suggested viewing for me is going to be Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams, which is on Amazon Prime right now.
now. Really?
It's very much like Black Mirror. You know, it's an episodic series with, the Philip K. Dick sci-fi stuff. A lot of touches of like Minority Report, things like that thrown in
cool.
there. It's really good. It's
All
really,
right.
really good.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
definite suggested viewing, especially if you like Black Mirror.
Heather?
Oh, all right. We're gonna go to me. All right. So
No, we're not.
this is kind of an oldie but goodie, and I've been absolutely obsessed with it recently. I'm gonna suggest everybody give Twister a rewatch. It's been on TV a whole bunch, and I've been watching it, and man, that movie is so not what I remembered
cow.
it to be. The cast is great. There's a billion people in it that are recognizable, but when I was younger, I watched it because I was like, oh, a tornado movie, how cool. And it's so much more than that. I didn't realize it until just recently how drama-driven it is. And it's not even about tornadoes, really. There's just tornadoes in the movie. And I mean, there are storm chasers, of course, it's about tornadoes. But it's not really about tornadoes.
What really blows my mind is how quotable that movie is.
Oh, it is.
I quote
The writing
it all
is
the
phenomenal.
time,
I think the
all the
writing
time
is
without,
amazing.
like realizing it. I'll be like, rabbit is good, rabbit is why.
It's the suck zone.
That movie came out in that era, like where there was just one after another, like disaster type movie coming out.
True.
Just-
That's why
and I'm not marginalizing.
No,
by
you're
saying
right.
that,
You're right.
No,
But I
but
think
because
that's
of
why
that, it got kind of lost in
it
the
got
shuffle
lost
for
in
a
the
while.
shuffle. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. That is my point. Exactly.
There you
Give
go.
Twister a rewatch because it's so much better than you even remember it as a youngster.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Your turn.
I'm going to go The Last Dragon. I've watched it like 4 times in the last month.
Nice.
A little Barry Gordy action, Timac rocking it out with the martial arts. Ridiculous soundtrack. The incredibly horrible acting of Vanity. But, I mean, come on. It all comes down to who's the master. You know?
It's been a
He
year,
said
it's been
it.
a while.
He
since I've
done
seen
did
that.
it now.
He done did it.
It had to be
He
said.
done did it.
Done did it. Well, speaking of that, I mentioned this before the show outside. We were all chatting. I did watch the first 2 installments of Cobra Kai today, which I was not. There's been YouTube's been pushing this really hard. Like, they're trying to get into this business now, I guess. And they've been pushing this really hard. And I kind of like let's just watch this for a goof. This isn't that much of an investment of time. Let's see what we get here. And I have to say, I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes. I mean, growing up, I think there wasn't too many of us that didn't really get involved with the Karate Kid, at least the first 2, especially. The first one, and as I was saying, like outside briefly, when we were kids seeing the Karate Kid, all we cared about was good and evil, and we wanted our guy to win. We wanted the dork to win. But there were these little
That's why I usually watch pornos with dorks in them.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Because they always win.
Score.
because they win.
Yeah, they win. But there were these pepperings in the original film where it does, and there's like I said, I mentioned that too. There was that weird mashup somebody did on YouTube about, how Johnny may have not been the bad guy here, right?
How Johnny might not have been the bad guy, and that he has that I hate saying it, the American, like, it's stereotypical 80s American attitude of like,
lunkhead,
my way's right, everybody else's is wrong, and everybody else is stupid.
Yeah, so at least the first 2 installments I've watched, they play on these ideas, and I thought that was pretty interesting. If you want to take this in as a story now, a bigger story,
Right.
with these characters. So I'm going to keep going with it. I think.
Yeah,
I
I've
want to
heard
see
nothing
it through.
but great things about it, and I have yet to see it.
It's done
so,
well. It's done well. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they've
not
already
bad.
they've already renewed it for season 2.
That's awesome.
So
Really?
yeah, yep.
Wow, far
it was
out.
that
Ladies and
successful.
gentlemen, Ralph Macchio is a working actor again.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's good. I mean, that's what I said. He can still act.
He acts exactly the same as he did. Like he's not a great actor, but he plays that character very well.
Yeah. So if you get a chance, at least check out the first 2. I think you can watch the first 2 for free. I think you get those
right.
for free. Then you got to buy the YouTube Red, whatever.
Red.
Is that what it's called? YouTube
think
Red.
so.
Yeah, check that out. That's my my thing for this week.
I know a lot. I know that I keep getting pop-ups for a free month of Red.
Yeah.
So maybe take advantage of that.
Yeah,
and
you could
stream it all for free and then cancel.
Right.
Yeah, but just read the
before
fine
they
print on
actually
that
charge
one.
you.
Read the fine print on that one.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I trust YouTube. Like as far as I can throw them right now.
Second month free.
All right, so moving along here. What are we talking about tonight, Chris?
Well, we've touched on Star Wars a couple times, but
Touched on it.
Everybody touches Star Wars.
yeah, I was touched by Star Wars when I was 3 years old.
I was touched by Star Wars.
Yeah,
I
so
think I was 6 months. So.
yeah,
I wasn't even born. Topped.
I always joke that it was the one good thing my grandparents did for me because I didn't really have a relationship with them, but they did take me to see Star Wars the first time when I was 3.
Yeah.
So, rest in peace. But
Yeah.
thanks for Star Wars.
So then we're talking about the original 3,
Yeah, let's get that out there right now.
which technically aren't the original 3, but they are the
Original
original.
They're the
Trilogy.
original 3. They're not the first
Not
3.
the first 3. Yeah.
Yes.
Sequentially speaking.
Yep.
So we're gonna be talking about episode 4, 5, and 6 tonight.
Exactly.
So do we want to take them just 4, 5, and 6? Just start with 4 and just go down.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
go at it? All right. A New Hope.
My
A New
favorite.
Hope.
A New Hope.
Empire's my favorite, but
Of
anyways.
course, Empire's is everybody's favorite.
New Hope is probably my least favorite
Of course.
Why?
of the original trilogy.
Why?
The acting is terrible. Terrible. You can see George Lucas's influence through the entire thing with the actors. Everything seems detached. Even great actors like Alec Guinness don't seem like they're quite attached to the lines they're saying. They don't seem motivated by anything. Everything is just dialogue and more and faster.
Well, Alec Guinness hated these movies too.
Yeah.
With the passion.
He was like, "What is this crap? Give me the paycheck, but what is this crap?"
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Really? He's like, "I'm this world-class Shakespearean type actor."
Multiple Oscars, BAFTAs, you name it. The guy's a legend, and here he is in a weird space opera.
Right.
But do we think maybe, and I know I've read things over the years about this, is, to me, has the same, I may be totally off the mark here, so shoot me down if you guys want.
Oh, we will.
I would
I
equate
will.
this to like The Godfather,
I have no
where
qualms.
I would equate this to like The Godfather, where you have a studio that's going, we don't know what the hell's going to happen here, and you're always going to get pushback, right? You got someone like George Lucas who has this major vision, which we see now is fucking legendary, right? But maybe at that time, this was the first film, technically,
But
right?
my question is, was it really legendary? I mean, he stole every aspect of Star Wars is stolen from somebody else.
Really?
The
All of
majority of it is
Yeah.
taken from the Hidden Fortress.
The Hidden Fortress, it's taken from The Flying Tigers, a Howard Hawks movie. It's taken from Joseph Campbell, Power of Myth, and The Hero with a Thousand Faces.
I guess what I'm alluding to is just how it looks today, because I watched these 3 films over the last couple weeks when I got time, and one thing I'll always root for these films for is they still look fucking great.
Oh, they
look
still
phenomenal. They
spectacular.
hold up so
Oh, yeah.
well.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You could see some of the green screen stuff a little bit, but really it's subtle. It's so subtle.
But
They
there's
did such a
so
good job.
little green screen
Yeah,
in
there
those
there
movies.
is.
Most of it, like at the most, is traveling mats where they're shooting on a set and then pushing it into a pre-made background. I mean, for the most part, it was all old technology used in brand new ways. And it's just, I mean, it definitely changed cinema forever. I mean, the perfect example is the year before it came out, Logan's Run. If anybody's never seen Logan's Run.
I've seen Logan's Run.
The highlight of Logan's Run is a weird-looking robot and flashing red jewels in people's hands. That won the Academy Award for special effects the year before Star Wars.
Correct.
So you go from that to this
To
quantum
Star Wars,
leap
right.
of realistic dogfights with spaceships and giant space stations and ridiculous armors and cool weapons, and it's a whole other level.
Yeah, it is. Some of the things I just threw some notes down here, and what I wanted to kind of point at, I guess, because I mean, I've said this before, and I'll say it again tonight. I've always leaned more on the Star Trek side of things. I love Star Wars, but I'm more of a Trekkie kind of guy, right? However, I think there's 2 types of men in this world. I've heard that shit. I'm like, that's not true. You can like both of them. It's okay, right? Sorry, there's 2 types of women also. Just be clear. There's 2
Just
types
to be
of women.
clear.
Yeah.
2 types of people.
2 types. Thank you. There's 2 types of
Yes.
people.
Humanity falls into 3 groups, actually. Trekkies, Star Wars freaks, and people that like both.
Yeah. And I guess I'm one of them. Yeah. So one of the things the stuff I kind of threw down here was some of the, growing up with these films, there's images, and there's no shortage of these in the Star Wars films that just permanently get burnt into your brain, right? And for me, one of them was a very disturbing image to me was Owen and Beru Lars, which his aunt and uncle,
Luke.
Luke Skywalker's aunt and uncle. Where he runs up to their home and they're burnt to a crisp. You see their skeletons.
But you know what's funny is when that scene happened, people should have figured out at that point that at some point in time, Disney was going to buy these movies because Disney always kills the parents.
Oh, dang.
Ooh. Yeah.
Well,
Damn.
They were his aunt and uncle, but yeah.
I know.
That image,
They
though,
raised them.
That image, forever is burned in my head. And when I watched A New Hope again, just reviewing for the show, that's one of those ones that I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I remember seeing this when I was younger. And that was heavy stuff to see when you were a little kid, I think. Seeing a couple of charred corpses sitting on the ground. It was a lot to take in, I think, for young people, but there it was right in front of your face. That was just an image that I remember seeing that just really kind of fucked me up a little bit when I was younger.
You know what's funny is that I don't remember that affecting me at all.
Well, I mean, it didn't ruin my childhood, but it was just something that was heavy. It was heavy to see that.
I mean, I remember Optimus Prime dying, and that killing me.
That sucked.
You know,
that sucked.
Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru on the scale of things sucking is somewhere above.
Well, I don't think
show getting canceled.
Well, I mean, it wasn't the fact that didn't affect me as much. It was more just the vision of it, like seeing these charred corpses. Like he just pulls up and there's these charred corpses. It could have been anybody.
Yeah,
could have been anybody. It was just seeing that when you're young, it really kind of messed me up a little bit. It's just one of them. Like I said, it's one of those things. Like I see a lot of films, and we've talked about it before on the show. These impressions that I'll have with me forever of just things I've seen on film.
Well, how old were you when you saw it?
Oh crap!
You're probably. I mean,
I was probably 6, 7 at least, something like that.
Okay, so for me, it was. I think it didn't stick for me is because I didn't know really understand what I was seeing.
Yeah,
because it was Star Wars is the first movie I ever saw in my life.
Oh, really?
My parents took me when I was 6 months old to the theater, the big dome theater in downtown Los Angeles. And that was the first time, apparently, in my entire life, and the last time, that I was ever quiet. And yeah.
I may have been younger. I don't remember. I mean, I remember I had to have been like 6.
77?
No, I was born in 75.
Okay. So you were 2. See, I was 3 when I saw it.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, well, and I don't think even if I was 6 years old, I wouldn't have really understood, like you're saying. I didn't really understand what I was seeing either. But it's an impression, though.
Yeah. Heather, how old were you when you saw it?
I was still in the nutsack.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. When I actually saw it, I don't know. Actually, when I first saw A New Hope, I was probably 8, maybe a little younger. But it's not the first movie I saw. I think the very first movie that I ever saw was Jaws.
Oh.
Yeah. But wow. I grew up watching movies like that all the time. Like, that was my thing. I mean, so I'm totally unfazed when stuff like that happens. So I was just like, oh. But now that you mention that, I don't think I really fully understood what I was seeing either. I knew that someone was dead, but I don't think I just fully grasped how it affected Luke so hard until maybe later on in the movie when he's talking to Obi-Wan.
So, all right.
But
that screwed
A New
me
Hope
up.
is my favorite movie, so
I think
that's your favorite, Heather?
It is my favorite.
Okay, all right.
I think, all in all, I mean, A New Hope really did change cinema forever. This, people used to go to the cinema during the summer to see movies. There were always big summer movies, but this was the first, summer blockbuster, and this is the film that kind of started the whole trend of May through August being the months where we get the big-ass movies. Yeah, we still get Christmas season, too,
of course,
of films, but A New Hope really kind of changed
everything.
It started that whole thing of once May hits, it's going to be big budget blockbusters all summer long, but also the merchandising aspect of it.
Oh yeah.
Up until this, yes, movies got
Mego Planet of the Apes toys.
Yeah, we got those things, but this really was the game changer. And if you watch that show on Netflix,
Toys
That Made Us,
that show's amazing.
Awesome.
The episode about Star Wars.
I'm calling dibs on season 2, reviewing it.
Sweet, cool. Yeah, it's actually pretty amazing when you watch that and you realize
it's a real integral part of manufacturing and just the industry in general.
Now,
absolutely. It's totally snowballed and made everything so much more powerful.
And before Star Wars, studios would never take merchandising into account when figuring out how much money a movie could make.
Yeah.
it wasn't until then that they started going, we can throw money at this movie. And not worry if the tickets come back,
right?
Because we're still going to make our movie back, our money back on merchandising.
Well, I mean, look at the merchandising now for all the new films too. I mean, as we know, I mean, there's people all over the.
Deadpool 2 is the perfect example of it now.
What's that?
Walk into 7-Eleven.
Really?
7-Eleven is covered in Deadpool.
Well, I was talking about just the toys. Like for Star Wars growing up, and it's a no-brainer. Yeah. All the toys from Star Wars. Oh, yeah. You know, we all had those toys, and I think I was one of them, too, where I trashed a couple things because they were just toys when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and now I look back and I'm like, oh, my God, I should just be kicked in the ass over and over again. But you have people that are collectors. And what I'm seeing now, what you see now with a lot of things, I think, especially with people in our age, in our 40s.
32.
Now everything we get...
Kid.
Now everything that comes across all the Star Wars movies now
falls apart.
Yeah. All the Star Wars movies now. I mean, all these toys that are coming out immediately. Okay, well, now it's like nothing gets unwrapped. Get away from that. Don't touch it. Because we've been through this already, right?
I know I'm guilty of that.
The collectability of things is just ridiculous now, no matter what it is. And of course, people have private collections we've seen and we've heard about that are just worth millions of dollars now.
Oh, God.
All these original toys.
Well, that's like any of you, if you have the chance, go to Marin County, California. There is the Star Wars Toy Museum.
Oh, my God.
Steven Sansweet.
Yes. And the dude has everything ever made for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Everything.
Literally.
Every single thing ever made.
He started out with just like acquiring Star Wars toys and whatnot, and he started adding wings onto his house to store all the stuff. Yeah. And then eventually Lucas brought him on as like the official person
curator
to curate all of the merchandise and props and T-shirts and whatever else from Star Wars. The man literally owns one of everything that's ever been related to Star Wars.
Even the stuff that never came out. He's the only guy that can call George and be like, "Hey, this is coming out on auction. I need you to back me on picking this up." And George will drop everything and give him the money for it.
Wow,
it's insane. He has like 3 of the prototype Boba Fett's that were killing kids.
Holy crap.
That were killing kids. The real story with that is that there was a Battlestar Galactica toy that came out right around the same time as Boba Fett was being introduced on the animated part of the Star Wars Holiday Special, which is dreadful. The Battlestar Galactica ship shot rockets out of it. Some kid hit himself in the eye with it, didn't do any real damage, but the toy industry freaked out and said, we're not going to release any toys with projectiles now. So,
if they did, they were going to do a J-lock on it.
What's that?
What year? Yeah,
79, 80, right before Empire came out.
80.
Because they did a Star Wars Holiday Special, which had the introduction of Boba Fett in it, and the toy centered around that.
It was Boba Fett in name only. I would like to point that out.
He's riding like a fucking sea dragon in it.
He's riding a sea dragon, and he's pink and purple.
Yeah, it's trippy, man.
It's psychedelic Boba Fett.
Because there was tons of Transformers that had projectile weapons on them. I have a bunch of them at home.
Yeah, but they had the J-lock.
They had the J-lock on them. Yeah.
Yeah,
you said that, and that's what I thought about. Like all the
so
Starscream and Thundercracker.
An L-lock is what they called it.
Yeah,
for the camera, it's an L-lock. So the little tab would go over. If you hit it, it would accidentally shoot. The J-lock kept it in place, where you'd have to push down and over. To shoot it. And so it was all for safety.
These comments tonight are cracking me up.
Okay.
Dawn's like, I played with stormtroopers in the bathtub.
Oh, Jesus.
So did I. Somebody needs to steal my profile pic on my account, because it's me in the bathtub at like 5, surrounded by Star Wars figures.
God. It's awesome, man. So obviously we're talking about a lot about the merchandising aspect of that. And this film, there is no
shortage.
Yeah, it's like, when all these films come out during Christmas, it's like, it's hysterical.
It makes me so glad my kid's 24. That's what it does.
It's hysterical, man. It's the most insane thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, this is just, they print money. They're printing money here.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Now,
So-
the one thing that pisses me off that I keep hearing about them printing money is that everybody calling it a cash grab. That it's all, they just did a repaint. It's a cash grab. It's a cash grab. It's like, it's only a cash grab if people don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not really a cash grab because the fact of the matter is they're a business. We live in a capitalist society. Like that's
people are gonna buy it. I'm
that's
totally
what
cool
it's
with that.
about. It's about making shit and selling it.
And
That's all there is to
and
it.
like you just said, any of these toys, and this is something as a collector of all kinds of crazy stuff, and I know you collect. We all collect here.
Oh, yeah.
An object, whatever it might be, a figurine, a ship, whatever it might be, a record, a CD, whatever it might be. That's assigned a value, and a lot of times, especially if it's a collectible item, it's what someone
totally
really assigns.
arbitrary.
Yeah, it's what someone assigns to it. Like well, what are you willing to pay for it?
Yeah.
And when you're trading, that's what you get into. And the same thing goes for these things. People want these toys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They name the price. It's kind of the not quite a trade thing.
Yes.
People name the price. They name the price. You want it, you pay for it. You don't want
yeah.
it, don't buy it. Whatever.
So moving on from the merchandising end, going
Yeah,
back to
how
A New
fuck we
Hope.
get-
No, it's all right. It's all connected.
It is.
I think A New Hope kind of changed things also in the aspect of how it brought this broad spectrum of characters together. Like you've got the farm boy, you've got the smuggler, you've got the princess, you've got the Wookiee.
Yeah.
They hadn't really done this that much up to this point. Correct?
Yes, they had.
It
Okay.
was quite a amount.
I'm wrong.
Ray Harryhausen was
yeah.
the king of the Voyage movies, and all of them followed a very similar path to Star Wars, and it was a lot of that whole the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, and it was a crazy cast of characters, or Jason and the Argonauts,
Right.
where they went even farther, and it's Hercules and all these Greek legends in one movie. But it was really all about that cast of characters where one is still the most important, but hey, look at all these cool people that are with them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The cavalcade of strange people.
Yes.
Well, it's a motley crew.
Yeah.
They're all so different, but they're all trying to achieve one goal.
So they're smoking in the boys' room?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, all right. Perhaps I should have used a different term. There's some other great scenes from the film, though, like getting to the actual film itself. The trash compactor scene is my all-time favorite scene, I think, from A New Hope. No doubt. There's so much comedy involved with that. It's horrible. It's like, speaking of disturbing, like...
Right.
That,
You're about to see people be squished.
Well, that and just that whatever the hell that thing was in there, it was an octopus. I don't know. That you see the tentacle come up. That one
Yeah.
tentacle,
With the
That one eye?
yeah, that fucked me up. That really freaked me out. Seeing that was like, oh my god, this is the most disgusting thing. They're in garbage.
And it was hairy. Do you
Yeah,
remember
it was
that?
hairy. Yeah, it was hairy. It was fucking gross, man.
They literally gave him the hairy eyeball.
Well, there's the best part of this scene is they find a way to keep the thing from squishing them, but they're all cheering.
Yeah.
Yay, all right. And you hear C-3PO. He thinks they're all
they're
dying.
dead.
Oh, my God, they're all dying. It's the worst thing ever.
Oh, curse my metal body.
It cracked me up. That never ceases to
dying,
crack me
Artu.
up. But, yeah, New Hope's a lot of fun.
such a golden dildo.
And when I was watching it just recently over Star Wars days or whatever, the Star Wars Day,
May the 4th?
Yeah, well, Star Wars Day. It's actually, I have a Star Wars calendar, and it says Star Wars Day on it, so I'm calling it Star
May
Wars
4th.
Day. But Jesse actually mentioned this, because Chewbacca the whole time, Chewbacca could have annihilated that monster, but he was scared, and I think, and Jesse said this, that he probably was just acting the part of what everybody else was doing because they were frightened, and, and he's a big dumb animal, I mean, he's intelligent, but he's a big dumb animal, so...
The other thing is if you're a real Star Wars nerd, like I read all the old novels and all that stuff, that he could have, but it's dishonorable to do it with his barehanded.
Oh, I see.
There's like a Wookiee code.
Oh, God.
Because they have like 4-inch claws on their hands.
Really?
So?
But it's all for climbing trees.
Oh, I
Because
see.
they're arboreal.
No.
Yeah.
All right, now we're getting off into the weeds, and I stopped.
No, I'm
caring.
loving this shit. This is awesome.
I mean, no, it's cool. I get it, but
Totally
I
awesome.
just—it's just one tidbit that I never really caught until much later, where
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, Chewbacca is this big fucking, this
Badass.
big ass badass, and
Yeah.
he could have just saved him from the animal, after it pulls Luke down, like that. Chewbacca should have been all over it, but
Do you guys think the battle scenes in A New Hope? They're my favorite in these 3 films. Honestly, I mean the whole Death Star thing. I thought that whole thing was fucking intense. I thought, like my thing at least was the way. One thing that always caught me when I was younger was just the reality. Like when one of the fighters was blowing up, you were getting like their cockpit blowing up around them.
Oh yeah, that
And I
was
thought that
intense.
whole element was real. That brought a realism to things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm burning, and that's it. And
Yeah.
they blow up. That little piece right there, and it's because it happens over and over again. That really was just as far as I love that element. I just thought it was so cool. And
It was.
that
It
little
was,
extra
it was
touch.
really intense. It really brought you in to the life and death of the whole thing.
like an actual space opera.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Cushing is Grand Moff Tarkin too. When the one thing I
Legend.
wrote what I wrote down here, really one of the most impressionable characters in the entire franchise to me. He is as much a face to the Empire as Darth Vader or the Emperor. Honestly, in these first 3 films, that face is another one of those things totally ingrained in my mind.
Which is really shocking since he's only in 20 minutes.
I know,
of the
right?
First movie.
Right, but
Yeah.
he's
But
so
he's still
intimidating. Yeah.
he
He's that
is
good.
scary.
yeah, he's really
he
scary.
just commands that shit.
And like he's dead, but you're still like, that's the Empire.
Yeah. He just had the face, the jawline.
A militaristic presence.
Thank you.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
A terrorist.
Yeah.
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 I mean, really.
A straight up dictator.
We have no weapons. That's fine. I'm still gonna blow your planet up.
Right.
Yep.
Let me
Bye.
prove my point.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, you in the white dress and the buns. I just fucked your planet.
Now go to sleep.
Your adopted dad.
Now
is
go to
dead.
sleep.
Jesus Christ, you guys are terrible.
One of my favorite scenes in that is when Vader kills Obi-Wan.
Yeah, heavy shit.
Yeah.
Heavy shit.
I think this is just my nerdgasm going off, but I think Vader did it on purpose, specifically because he knew he was still somewhat good and was hoping that Luke would come get him.
I think he might have been doing it because he thought it was good, but because he thought Obi-Wan had a chance of turning him and wasn't willing to take that chance.
Okay, nice point. Touche.
Because I don't think he knew Luke was his son.
Oh, no, you know what? Because he doesn't know that at this
Yeah.
point that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. And he knew, and Obi-Wan was, well, strike me down and I'll be
That and Obi-Wan knew the greatest secret in the galaxy.
right.
That high ground will always win.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. It's
true.
He went there.
It's over. It's over, Anakin.
But yeah, that,
Anakin,
Even as a-
I beg you, I have the high ground.
God, that movie's
I have
fucking
failed
terrible.
you. I failed you. Oh, goddamn. Oh.
How do you like that lava?
Is that hot enough for you, bitch?
If you'd like, I can use the Force and make it even warmer.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're terrible people.
Script suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, that right there was a better scene than the actual.
It is the real crime edit of
Yeah.
episode 3.
I love episode 3 myself.
I
Episode
was
3
fan of
was
that
the
one.
highlight of
It was
the
Yes.
second
Of
trilogy.
all day
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
All day long.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That stomped the shit out of that trilogy right there.
Emperor.
The Emperor Vader getting to actually see Anakin go completely
mental.
yeah,
He just lost his mind.
psychotic.
He really does.
murdering kids.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, I know a lot of dads that have weird hobbies, but that's that's like some BTK shit right there.
Well, you know, the real. You really see it, you know, on that in the lava when he's just laying there being burnt. He just screams, "I."
Yeah.
And that's all.
That was it.
That's all he focused on. Still,
Yeah.
is how much he hates Anakin, and he's literally on fire.
Yeah. It's heavy stuff. How do we get there?
I know we need to get away from episode 3.
Yeah.
We're only-
Let's move on to Empire
Yeah. All right.
because It's like the best movie ever made.
I would say that the beginning of that movie is probably the best intro in any movie that I've probably seen. You know,
I wrote down the whole fucking Wampa sequence. That's actually what I wrote in my notes.
Yeah.
And there's a line when Han Solo decides he's not going to leave, he's going to go find Luke, right? Where they say,
I'll see you in hell.
I'll see you in I'll see you in hell, and that always stuck out weird for me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
where you know that Han just doesn't, his own safety isn't important to him, that he'd rather see his friend live.
Which is really strange because it changes his character from the first movie immediately. Because in the first movie, he's all about
getting
money, getting money,
Yeah.
And he has that conflict towards the end of A New Hope.
What good's a reward if you aren't alive to spend it, sister?
But then by The Empire Strikes Back, he's a changed person.
Yeah.
And he sacrifices himself
Right.
for the group.
A couple times.
Also.
Well, at the end of A New Hope, he does. And then in this one, he's completely just a totally different person.
Yeah,
he
does
really
he
is.
really at the end of A New Hope?
Well,
because he just kind of like sneaks in, shoots a ship, and flies away as fast as humanly possible. It's
that's true.
That's how I got my wife pregnant.
4 times.
That's how we all got our
4
wives
times.
pregnant.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. It's still a little selfish as the act, but I mean, I think in his mind, in Han Solo's mind, I think he really was being selfless in that moment.
I think he probably motored.
Yeah, I don't think it was
I
don't think it was a fleeting thought that he was like, I should probably go do this. He was like, I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah, it was probably one of those crap.
All right.
Damn kid.
Within that sequence, we get to see Han Solo cut open a tauntaun.
Yeah,
which is another one of those impressions I talk about all the time. When he just he grabs Luke's lightsaber and just slits that thing open, and you just see this.
You see the egg roll come out,
and how
many bad
and
on
how
the outside.
I was saying, how many times have you said that in your life? We all use every chance we can to say,
I thought
they smelled bad on the outside.
Yeah.
That whole opening sequence is really heavy stuff to watch.
I have a snowspeeder and a walker tattooed on my feet.
You know what? I always
Is that BB-8 on your arm?
that part.
Oh no, that's a woman.
Oh no, I saw the orange.
That part is really intense.
Yeah.
But I love the part when Wedge comes over that ledge on Hoth and he's like, "We found him." I repeat, we found him.
Yeah.
Like right away, you feel like this sense of like,
yeah,
hell yeah, our heroes are coming back and they're gonna screw shit up, you know.
And then that giant fight comes and you're like,
yeah.
No.
So the fun bit of trivia about all that. So Wedge, between all 3 movies, is actually Ewan McGregor's uncle.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
He looks like Jon Favreau.
Wow, he kind of does.
Yes.
Except for skinny Jon Favreau, like the replacements.
I can't unsee that. Jesse said it one time, a long time ago when we were watching it, and ever since then I'm like, man, what is Jon Favreau doing in this fucking movie?
He was like 8.
Yeah. But he does.
I think in The Empire Strikes Back, this is Darth Vader in this trilogy. Darth Vader is at his coldest, I think. I think he's really... There's obviously he's carrying a lot of anger from from A New Hope. He just seems he's killing people left and right. Like they fuck up one iota. Like you came in too fast. You came out of light speed too slowly or whatever. And that's it. Too quick. All right, thank you. They just got there. They would. You know what I'm talking about.
You came out of light speed too close.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But yeah, the guy dies. Like, there's no room for fucking error here with this guy.
Yeah, no.
I've worked for some pricks in my life. But,
well, that and at the table when he actually just force chokes and the guy's like, the force is nothing, and that's Empire, right?
Yeah.
No. That's the middle of New Hope when
is it?
They're in the meeting room.
You're not going to threaten us with your sorcerer's ways, Lord Vader.
Where everybody had a British accent, and then the second one nobody does except for
that's
Giraffe
because
woman.
Everybody knows the British are the bad guys of the universe.
Yeah.
It can't be helped.
Well, and there is a reason for that.
And
because
imperialism.
it was all filmed at Pinewood Studios in England, so all of the supporting cast came from England.
Okay.
Yep.
That's why.
Yep.
Yep.
Whoops.
So
Pinewood
yeah,
and Elstree.
Yes.
it just seems like Darth Vader is on a rampage in The Empire Strikes Back.
Well, I think it's partially because of what we said earlier, where now that Moff Tarkin's dead, they have to show just how scary Darth is. That he's not just
He's not being
scary
wrangled in
looking
anymore.
dude.
Yeah.
Now you have to go, oh crap.
Well,
that
he's
dude will
also
kill
exercising.
indiscriminately.
He has to exercise more leadership too.
Right.
And he's apparently not good at it.
No.
His managerial skills leave a little bit to be desired.
Worked for some pricks.
I'm
before.
talking to
Not that bad.
HR.
You think the Empire had an HR department?
Oh, I'm sure.
Probably.
Oh, sure.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they did. I'm sure
They had
did.
to. They had to.
At least for all the independent contractors working on the Death Star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
no.
you
Yeah.
think
No, that
that-
discussion.
How
Was
would
there
you
a
get all those?
union
people?
on the Death Star, do you think?
They're all the clones.
On
I mean,
both of them?
The clones ain't gonna. They don't need.
No, the clones are gone.
The clones are gone. By the
Those are-
time A New
yeah,
Hope
yeah,
rolls
by the
around, the
time
clones are
those are-
gone.
yeah,
You're
clones
right.
are gone.
You're right. Holy shit. So they have to have an HR department for all those guys.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thought.
Well,
No, it's funny
I
because
don't think
I've
you
never
really have
really
an
thought of
HR
that,
department in the
actually, until
military.
now.
What's that?
When I was in the Navy, I don't remember having an HR department.
There wasn't one.
No.
I was never in the military.
No, you just have your chain of command, and that's all that really matters. Then you have
So that explains
your,
people
like,
just getting
affairs
knocked
and that
off
kind of
left and
stuff.
right. Then
Yeah.
they can't report shit.
Well, it's your job. It's your job to die at Vader's hands.
I'm not going to say how I know this, but a certain movie that I just saw actually has recruiting going on in it.
Oh, that's cool.
So they are recruited.
Oh, good.
They
Good.
are recruits.
So they are going to do that storyline. That's
It's
that's
in there.
interesting.
Okay, interesting. All
I
right.
have no idea what movie you're talking about. Though.
Nope.
Yeah,
My gut instinct tells me that he's talking about Jurassic World 2.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I like you.
We meet somebody.
I like you.
We meet somebody very important. Can't really understate that fact.
Oh, dude, Yoda?
Yeah.
Oh.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Look, he's right next to you, Scott.
What? Oh yeah.
Yoda.
Next to you.
We meet this. Well, the camera probably can't.
Yeah,
see.
he can't
we
see
have a
Yoda.
Dude,
Yoda.
Yoda
can't even see
in
Yoda.
Empire is probably my favorite thing about the entire movie. Not just because he's an awesome character, but just the puppeteering and
Well, it
man,
just looks
that
so friggin'
still
good.
today it blows my mind how
It looks
incredibly
so
intricate
good.
it is and so awesome. And then we get Yoda.
Frank
but,
Oz at his absolute
Oh,
best.
right? Yeah.
Like, period.
And I've always loved how he was introduced. Like just
Oh,
how,
yeah.
Yeah.
just this annoying
This
little
little
green
vagrant-
thing. Just,
yeah.
Mine.
R2, just let him have it.
Yeah. He's just throwing shit around, causing all kinds of trouble. Good food.
And did you notice? If you ever watch Empire with subtitles, how much British slang is used in that movie? He doesn't call it a flashlight. That light that Yoda's trying to steal.
yeah.
He calls it a torch. I'm like, give me my torch back. I'm like,
What? Is he eating some fish and chips right now?
what the hell is going on? Where's the doctor?
I
But
love
wait.
that scene.
We meet Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
How do you even go
It's-
into that?
well, you
how
go into
important
that-
that is as far as the storyline?
It's
concerned?
probably one of there's two major iconic moments in this movie. Obviously, the "I am your father" part and the Yoda part. Like two major things revolve just around those scenes.
Well, and how often in life do you hear "do or do not" or "there is no try"? You
Right.
know? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
The training. I mean, it's like amazing. Like
Well, this is the first glimpse we get into the Jedi, like what makes the Jedi
What-
work.
yeah, what
a Right.
Jedi is.
What's happening
How
here, what this is all
actually
about.
significant the Jedi
Yeah.
really, really are.
What
Yeah.
it takes to be one. This
And how
isn't-
badass.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, as we know now, the midichlorians, did I get that name right? The
Yeah.
midichlorians.
yeah. Unfortunately, you did.
As we know now,
Biggest blasphemy in the history of Star
yeah,
Wars.
that's one thing I could just never get down with the prequels for sure.
really.
We don't
Well, it's
Why-
all over the freaking prequels. It's like, shut
why
up
bring
already.
in biology? Like, you don't need biology to explain mystical powers.
Right,
Just say
exactly.
it's mystical freaking powers.
Yep.
And that's what the Jedi do. They hone in on the mystical powers.
This is obviously, to me, the darkest film in this trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think it's why people. I think a lot of people like it. It's an ugly film. It's not
It
pretty.
ends on the biggest down note.
Oh God, hell
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Just
Yeah.
I like that shit. I'm all
Oh, I
about
love
that.
it.
I think it's great.
Love it.
I think it's fantastic. That's
This is the Godfather 2 of the Star Wars saga.
thank
You
you.
know?
It really is, especially since it's better made in
Yeah.
every possible way.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh wait, that's because George Lucas didn't
Didn't
direct
do
it.
it.
That's right.
You know,
It's-
it's amazing
I mean,
what a change in
Just
directors
to be clear,
can do.
that's not why A New Hope is my favorite. But I agree with you. George Lucas touches everything, and it's fucking garbage.
Poopy.
It's
Oh yeah,
garbage.
it's amazing. No matter how good the script is, and it's also the first one where George Lucas's tentacles weren't all over the script.
Right.
Yeah.
He was just a producer for that, right?
Yeah, yeah. He wrote the
Excuse
story
me,
by
executive producer.
yeah story by George Lucas.
Right,
and then
right.
I can't remember who
Actually
wrote the screenplay for it.
I think it.
But he also just wrote Solo, a Han Solo story, the
yeah,
Star Wars
Kirshner.
thing.
Yeah, and his son.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's definitely shades of the old stuff in Solo, which is cool.
Well,
But
they have
yeah.
the right writing.
Yeah, Empire is heavy.
It is really
Oh, yeah.
heavy.
Very heavy.
And it's a hard watch. And what I really love about this movie is when Luke decides he is going to take on Darth with barely any training
Right.
whatsoever. He's like,
I'm
"Yeah,
ready."
I got this.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and Yoda's like, dude,
Dude, you're not ready.
you're not ready, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's what is great about that part is that's where you start seeing Anakin and his genes coming through Luke.
Oh, yeah.
And how separated
Yeah.
Anakin was in the third movie, really.
Mm-hmm.
But you get a taste of what Anakin was dealing with because Anakin was the same way.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
the reckless.
Impulsive and reckless.
Impulsive, and he was rage, and
Yeah.
his
I can't
his
let them
fire was
suffer.
deep in that
Well,
in Empire.
There was that element. Yeah, he wants to face down Vader, but also his motivations for leaving early from training also was, I have to help my friends. They're in
Right.
trouble. He's feeling things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he does feel the Force now. So he wants to leave, not only obviously because he wants to face down Vader, as I said, but he also is leaving for better reasons too. Like, I need to
Yeah.
help my friends. My friends are going to die,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which gets to my second favorite part in that movie
What's that?
is when Luke touches Leia through the Force.
Yes. Yes.
It's
When he's
so
dangling
it's
off
so
of,
nothing,
Cloud
but
City.
man, it's so everything. I love
It
that
is
scene.
because it's so much
it makes
foreshadowing.
it makes me fucking flutter for real. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh,
so much foreshadowing in that one line
Little,
of dialogue.
like 2 minutes,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, my dirty secret is that I actually fast forward through all the Yoda parts now.
Yeah.
I've watched
But
watched
Yoda,
it
but
500 times.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
You know,
They're a
easily.
little slower moving with the rest of the movie. They
Yeah.
as far as those parts.
that
go, they're
that
not as fast.
that Yoda scene just kills the momentum in the movie.
yeah, but that's
Like
the
if-
point.
It is the point, but at the same time, when you've seen it 500 times, you don't want
Well,
the momentum
yeah, but
ruined.
that's outside. That is outside
And-
of the podcast discussion.
Well, and and the other interesting thing is that since it wasn't directed for home video release like movies are now,
Yeah.
that's why it's there. Like if you made
Sure.
the same movie now, they would have
They
to
would
be
yeah.
cutting in other stuff in
to
between.
keep the momentum.
Oh,
to keep
keep
it.
the
is that why
momentum.
Marvel movies are awful for the most part?
If they were, yes, that would be it.
Damn,
Oh.
dude.
It's cool.
We got some zingers tonight.
We do.
Great movie. Fucking awesome movie.
It is a good movie.
Oh,
It
Empire's
is.
legendary.
Can't be a bad movie.
My favorite birthday of my entire life was all based on Empire.
Yeah.
When I was 5. My parents put me to bed. It was like 9:30. They come in running into the bedroom, wake me up. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. We got to go, we got to go, we got to go. We get in the car and drive out to the theater to go watch Empire.
Aw.
And that's
Awesome.
like the coolest childhood memory.
Well, and see, I have those same memories, and that's something that I think is lacking now. Like, I remember we went to Showcase Cinema in Sterling Heights that used to be there at Van Dyke in 16 mile area. That place that was like a maze inside.
Yeah.
And I remember going and us having to wait in line to get tickets. And we were there like all day waiting to buy tickets on opening day. And there's a line wrapped around the theater, but you're there with your brothers and sisters in their love of Star Wars, which is just so cool because everybody's talking about what's going to happen. You don't get that now. Now you just get that on Facebook.
It's all great until that one asshole walks out
and says,
it's like, oh my God, I can't believe Darth Vader's his dad.
And then just gunshots.
What Chris is
AK-47
talking
comes
about,
out.
though, too, is just that,
The camaraderie.
Yeah.
You don't have that.
It's
you don't,
missing now, for
don't,
sure.
You don't have, I guess the only time you see that now is on Black Friday or whatever, where people, idiots are
Cons.
still...
Now it's really cons.
Yeah. Or but I'm talking about like for a movie like that where you would stand in line. We used to do that for concerts and all kinds of stuff back in the day. We'd stand there and hang out.
Oh yeah.
And you're wasting time. But you could back when you were younger like that. It was all right. Now, you want to watch a movie now, you just go on whatever and just get your ticket.
Order your ticket.
Yeah, order your ticket and you just walk in. It's easy, right? You're not waiting in line. And I know people, that idea was always like it didn't look too good on paper, but when you actually got in there, it's a lot of fun because you're with people like you were saying.
It
Chris.
could be.
I never had a bad time.
No, I
It was
never
always
had
fun.
a bad time for stuff like that.
You'd always start chatting up. Some people are introverts. I get it, right?
I'm just impatient. I've been like that since I was a kid. Like you want me to wait for what? No.
Just strike up a conversation with the people in front of you. And I mean, I remember several times for anything similar to this, we get into a line and, if you're waiting for a couple hours, you start chatting some more. Oh, you're really hearing that? Next thing you know, by the time you get in there, man, you're like
ready to go have drinks after.
Yeah,
the
you're
movie.
arm in arm.
Yeah,
You're like best friends. And that's really cool shit.
That's the only time that I don't mind small talk, really. When I'm in an area, like a con or something like that, where I'm in an area where there's fellow peeps,
Where you
but
can
like
nerd
if
out.
if I'm standing in the
You
grocery line and someone's like, this weather, I'm like,
that's
don't
not
talk to
small.
me.
Yeah, that's not small talk. You're
I
with
don't like
people.
that shit.
You're with people on the same level as you. So
Right.
you're talking about real shit.
right, exactly.
That's a party.
Yeah.
That's a fucking party,
Woo!
man. That's the best shit ever. That's totally awesome. So that type of stuff, and let's lead into that with Return of the Jedi. Can we do that? Can we move on to Return of the Jedi?
Sure.
Why does Return of the Jedi get so much flack?
There's problems with
Probably
Return of the
because it
Jedi.
has an entire cast of teddy bears.
Yeah.
I love the Ewoks.
Okay.
Well,
I'm on board with Harrison Ford on the Ewoks.
Before-
They're freaking obnoxious.
before we get to that, though, what I was saying,
I thought
though,
they were obnoxious when I was 8, by the way.
the idea of this film, I cannot remember, honestly, a more anticipated film, though.
Oh,
This film,
yeah.
everybody on the planet was shitting their pants before
But remember,
it came out.
up until a month out, it wasn't Return of the Jedi.
It was Revenge of the Jedi.
And I still have Revenge of the Jedi merchandise.
Oh, do you?
Aw.
Yep.
Sweet.
Because I joined the Revenge of the Jedi fan club.
Aw.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then Lucas.
I wanted that poster back then.
Lucas, right up until the very last minute, 30 days out,
Yeah.
35 days out, was like, oh,
Wait,
Revenge.
that doesn't really make sense with the Jedi.
Yeah, Jedi's not going to.
They're not vengeful.
Yeah,
No,
so we're going
they're
to change it to Return.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, just regardless, the
Bloody hippies.
anticipation of this film was off the hook. I
Yeah.
cannot remember a film that was that, at least that I've been involved with, like that I was wanting to see that where there was more people buzzing about a movie.
Man, I wish I
I-
could.
Whatever the hell it was
experience that.
called.
Episode 1.
Oh yeah, that was completely insane.
I wasn't
That
even
was
born when
That was
Madness.
Return
completely
came out.
insane.
When did
Man.
Return come out?
83.
84.
Yeah, I wasn't even born.
83. May 25th, 1983.
Jeez, I was
Because it
born
was
in
77,
86.
80, 83.
And then the next year was Ghostbusters. That's right.
Yep. Yep.
I saw
Right.
I saw Ghostbusters. Well, I didn't see the first one, but I went and saw I did. I've seen it. I just meant like my mom took me to the theater to see the second one when I was a babe.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Babe.
Yeah, I was screaming about the baby about
So-
Oscar,
Well, yeah, we were all
Freaking
screaming about
out.
that movie, too.
freaking out.
So,
she
okay.
had to move me.
Everybody hates the Ewoks.
Why?
I don't
hate the Ewoks.
I don't hate the Ewoks, but even when I was a kid at 9 years old seeing this movie, I was sitting there going, wait a second. This would have been so much better if it was Wookiees. And for
It was
some,
supposed to be.
It was supposed to be Wookiees. We
Oh,
were
really?
supposed to go
Yeah.
to Kashyyyk and have a battle there, but because of budgetary constraints and costuming constraints, they said, okay, instead we're going to do these little furry creatures called Ewoks.
And merchandising. They knew that they could make millions off little fuzzy
Wicket.
dudes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, Wicket Warwick.
So
When did Gremlins come out?
84 too, I'm pretty sure.
80
Look that one up.
Yeah, I can tell you.
I'm IMDb'ing that right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Look that one up.
I
Shameless
think
plug.
I think the problem that I have with the Ewoks.
84.
Okay.
Okay, so a year later. Or
Yeah.
I think the
a year
issue with the Ewoks is that I'm supposed to believe that really they take this integral part in defeating the Empire
Yeah.
after years and years and years of this galactic struggle. These little furry teddy bears are going to be the ones that really help overthrow the stormtroopers and this massive empire.
I mean, I guess they brought it to them though, so then they could actually,
Well, I think it
be
was more
one
about
with the war.
Yeah, I think it was more about the message that it wasn't. It was that technology doesn't always mean
Yeah,
superiority.
because they just had rocks and stuff. And,
that
ropes.
ropes and perseverance will always win. I mean, it sounds like
chains.
it. I was going to say it sounds like a night at my dominatrix's house, but
I mean,
you know.
it is cheesy when you really get down to it, but I mean, maybe it's because I'm younger, and that's the most. Actually, that's probably my most watched Star Wars movie. That's the one that I remember the most as a kid.
I think I've watched it more
Yeah.
than any of the other ones.
So
Yeah,
I think,
absolutely.
as a child, seeing Star Wars for the first time, it was probably Return actually.
The problem with the Ewoks, and this is going to be very goofy coming from me, is, and I actually wrote this note down, like something about watching an Ewok die that makes a little piece of your soul die.
Oh,
also.
right?
that
When
that
he,
scene
yeah.
where they
One
get
scene.
blasted.
Oh, and he's
fucking
like,
sucked.
"Ow."
That
He's like, wake up,
sucks
wake
so
up,
hard.
buddy.
Yeah, that
Oh,
sucks
yeah.
so hard, man.
Oh, I remember.
I think
made
that gets
cry
me
when I
more
was a
than-
kid.
Yeah, that
Then
bummed
the
me out
uncle.
big time.
Oh, yeah.
And the
When I was
aunt.
little, I sobbed like somebody beat me.
Yeah, I can see how that would bother you more than the aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Watching the Ewoks die.
Yeah.
it's a helpless little thing.
It's like watching your dog die.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was
on
going to
screen.
say, animals are innocent, man.
Yeah,
Animals.
and these were definitely
They-
innocent.
they were very
like,
innocent.
it's funny
Yeah.
because they were just miniature Chewbacca.
And now what's really funny is that if you think about it, they were getting ready to eat them, and we still
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
still empathize this
Yeah.
much with them.
Yeah.
Like they're literally cooking them on a spit,
Yeah,
and we're like, no, they're still adorable.
yeah. Well, they
Like, how
they
dare
just
you
look-
hurt them?
Well, that's a credit. They looked that good. They
Yeah.
just looked that good.
Yeah.
That you could literally forgive cannibalism. Well, not
Yeah.
cannibalism, but
Well, it's not cannibalism, but
Not really.
but
And I'd
eating
like
other
to also
sentients.
mention
Yeah,
that
there
in
you
the remasters, when they go back and they give them eyelids and they blink.
That's just creepy.
Well, it's the best use of the remasters that I've
It is.
that I've
That
seen.
is the
That's
smartest thing that
right?
they did.
I think
Yeah.
honestly that is the best part of any of the remastered
I need
Star
to move
Wars
away from the mic
because
from this because anything is better than no.
yeah. But that's what I was actually
Anything
expecting
is
when the
better.
remasters came out. Like eyelids on things that didn't have eyelids when the first came
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
But no, we got fucking and
But-
we got the canteen, the Jabba the Hutt,
Oh,
and
the
this-
remastered band
Jesus.
scene is the worst
Right?
part of Jedi.
right. It
that-
is.
The original song still
It's
makes
quick
me
and-
so happy.
It's quick and easy, and then you
Yeah.
get this whole drawn out thing, and it's like just
And then
get
now
to
it's a
Rancor,
production.
hey?
Yeah.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
like,
it's,
ugh.
why?
Like
there's two.
I'm not watching Solid Gold. I'm watching Return of the Jedi.
Soul trading.
There's
Just
two creatures in Return of the Jedi that I just think are so epic to this day, and that's the Rancor.
Oh yeah,
And the
Sarlacc.
Sarlacc.
Sarlacc Pit.
Yeah.
Those two things are still insane to me.
Oh, yeah.
And we get some descriptions of Sarlacc. Obviously, you're digested over what 1,000
1,000
years.
years.
1,000
years. You're digested.
Yeah. Now that begs the question: so does it actually keep you alive for 1,000 years?
I
Well,
have no idea.
I think,
I
you
think
just
so.
It
slow-
must,
I think
because
you
if you're
just
being slowly digested
yeah.
for 1,000 years,
Right.
and you're going to be in pain for that entire 1,000 years, it's keeping you alive.
Right.
That's like doubly messed up.
Right.
Sucks.
So here is my I don't really love the Ewoks. I do love Wicket. I want to cuddle with him. He's cute. Okay. They're okay. I don't necessarily hate them. just don't totally love them. But my big problem with Return of the Jedi is Boba Fett. I mean, seriously, you build up this awesome villain in the background. He's supposed to be this total badass, and then he dies like a bitch.
But I think Lucas did that because he was detracting too much by the end of Empire and merchandising and all that. Everybody was so obsessed with him that he's like, if I have to do a whole nother freaking plot line for this stupid bounty hunter, I am going to be hosed for the rest of the movie. Like, does the world really want a whole story arc in the middle of Jedi of Boba Fett?
I don't think we needed a storyline. I just didn't like the fact that they killed him that easily. Like, and it was stupid.
It was an accident.
Yeah,
Boba Fett.
Where? Boom.
Yeah,
done.
It really was very non-climactic how he just kind of just fell into the pit, and that was the end of it.
I think he kind of did that as a screw you to the fans.
You think so?
I honestly do. George Lucas seems like he's kind of the guy who's the king of screw you to the fans.
Well, it's kind of what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi, too. I mean, because there's tons of FUs all over that movie. But
I think that was also done because of how freaking harsh fans have been about everything.
Yep.
That right now, I'm sorry, as a Star Wars fan, I'm saying this to the rest of the Star Wars fans, we freaking deserve every bit of the FUs we get.
I agree.
All of us.
I agree with that. And that we're probably the only two people on the planet that
agree with
feel
it.
that way.
Yeah.
See, because I understand how emotionally invested some people are. I really get that.
I do too.
I'm like that with other things, right? As I said earlier, I'm not as heavy. I love Star Wars. But they're films to me.
Yeah.
They're not a hobby to me.
Sure.
They're films I enjoy.
Yeah, they haven't been a hobby to me since I was like 16.
It's not a hobby. It's not a hobby, right? And I've talked about this on other shows that, just other people, other podcasts and whatnot. And I've said this. I'm like, look, I mean, especially with The Last Jedi, literally, and we discussed this on the show briefly. They literally were protesting, like, we want this movie deleted.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
and all I said about that. In one interview,
I thought it was a good movie.
It was a fantastic movie.
I loved it.
But I mean, I said this in an interview with another guy, and I said, "Look, man, you guys can complain all you want. It's not going away.
Right.
It's not going away.
You're not going to suddenly remove it from
the
chronology.
canon.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, and I know we're still on Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But if you take The Empire Strikes Back and you compare The Last Jedi, it's not quite the remake that The Force Awakens was of A New Hope.
No, it's not, and I'm so happy about that.
But if you look at things they did with the character arcs in The Last Jedi, it aligns with The Empire Strikes Back. And I've said this here before. People are like, Luke wouldn't do this. Luke wouldn't do that.
Sure,
yes, he would. Luke was doing the exact same thing that Obi-Wan and Yoda did when they decided to run away from the dangers and fear of what was going on due to them being Jedi.
They were both
He
hiding.
went and hid out.
Yep.
And if you watch the way Luke behaves, Luke isn't crazy in The Last Jedi.
No.
Luke is doing the same thing that Yoda did. He's trying to throw Rey off.
Yeah.
I'm not who you think I am.
Right.
I'm not who you think I am. I'm gonna act weird. I'm gonna drink blue milk from this sea
this
creature
thing that I
nipple
just mixed.
and drip it all over my face. So she thinks
I'm a crazy person.
I'm a crazy
old
person.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he's not.
How very Obi-Wan.
Yep.
The crazy old man reference, you
Yep.
know? I mean,
So-
it's a lot of that stuff going on in there.
But
There's
see, that's where The Force Awakens, it should have been like that, I think.
Well, The Force Awakens, and I'll defend that movie to no end because
I thought
of
it
the
was
fact
really solid.
that it was actually a remake in the way that Creed was a remake.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
it was
Spiritual.
to introduce a new youthful base to Star Wars, people that hadn't really experienced it yet, so that their families, their dads, their moms could take them to the movies and experience some of those same.
Your mom like your
yeah,
grandparents.
And it had been
did,
what, like
yeah.
15 years since the last Star Wars
We
movie.
want to. It's a circular theme throughout all these movies. So
It's all based off of earlier. I brought up Joseph Campbell, the hero with 1,000 faces. That was really the Bible that George Lucas used to write Star Wars. because the book discusses that all mythology is exactly the same.
Yes.
They just recycle the character.
Sure.
And put a different name and face on him, and that's it. And Lucas is in the documentary for Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth. And it's Lucas produced the damn thing.
Holy
because
crap.
he was so into Joseph Campbell's writing and teaching.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, of course it's going to follow the same story.
It's got this circular
that's
arc
fine.
to all of
I
them.
still didn't like it, but
That's all right. You don't have to.
No.
Yeah, that's what this is all about.
and I like it. I've seen it 3 times and I hate it the most in my third time.
Awakens? Yeah. Awakens? I thought Awakens was really solid. I thought it was neat to take us somewhere where we haven't been.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that, and I get it. It's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So going back to Return of the Jedi, I took us off into the
No,
weeds
it's
this
okay.
time.
It's all right.
My favorite character is Salacious Crumb.
Yeah.
Oh.
I used to I
Salacious.
used to annoy the shit out of my parents doing that.
That
I would do
laugh?
it. Yeah, I would do it all the time, and I would jump on shit and be like, "Eh." Yeah.
You should do that more often now.
Actually,
There's
I
definitely-
do.
There's a lot of color. There's a lot
I've
of colorful
reverted.
characters.
There
I
are.
think, in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, there are.
I mean, obviously Jabba the Hutt, which
Yeah.
Merchandising.
well, yeah, but Jabba the Hutt, honestly, was like nothing I think I had ever seen at the time.
Oh,
I mean,
and he still
Oh,
grosses
yeah.
me out, man.
he's
Well,
still
11
Oh.
people to puppet him?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
You
so
know, I mean,
incredible.
that's just insane. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's the laugh. You
Oh.
hear it, you know it, and you know how he abducts Carrie Fisher and basically turns her into my first stroke material as I was a kid.
I think that was everybody's first stroke material.
God, she looks so good. God damn, that's absolutely beautiful.
She is
Either
beautiful.
her or Aaron Gray on Buck Rogers.
Holy shit!
Oh, wow.
You're throwing me back now. Wow, dude.
That skin tight blue jumpsuit.
Yeah, she was pretty cute.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then she went on to Silver Spoons
right.
and
We,
ruined
we
it.
got to get done soon now.
Your pants need to come down a little bit, right?
We got a little time still.
I know.
Unhinge
but I
the
don't.
tents.
I don't. I gotta go. Kidding. But yeah, the characters
I
are
have
so
other
colorful.
plans.
Yeah.
I've got another Star Wars
11:30.
podcast to do tonight.
No, the movie's it's a very colorful film when it comes to characters, I think. And you know, I will admit, and I think I said it on this podcast too, The Last Jedi, I broke down a couple times. I teared up.
Oh,
yeah.
there was 2 times in The Last Jedi where I was like choking on my. I got headaches trying to hold my crying back.
I teared up.
Where you start getting eye strain.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
I
it's
went
the
fuzzy
worst.
and I was just like, shit.
Like I don't want
Why you
tears.
do
I
me
want
like
to see
that,
what's
Star
happening.
Wars? Why you do me like that?
Why you do me like that?
I teared up. I teared up during Return of the Jedi in the obvious scene.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I want to see you with my eyes. That fucking blew me out.
I know, right?
Oh yeah.
Fucking blew me out when I
Yeah,
heard that. I was
but
like,
see,
dude.
that's why I said for A New Hope when Vader actually does kill Obi-Wan, and he, you know, because you don't think of it that way at the time, but then by the time you get to Return, and you see the way that he stops Luke's death, basically,
Yeah.
because it's his son, you're like, oh man, Luke was right, you know, like it really hits you.
I hate saying this. That scene is completely ruined for me because of Kevin
because-
Smith.
Oh, why?
Oh, why?
You guys have all seen Chasing Amy?
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, when his beautiful black visage is sullied when they remove the mask and he turns out to be a crusty old white man.
Oh, I
Man, I've
remember
not
now.
seen that movie in so long.
Yeah, that's like
wow,
that's my least viewed one of any of Kevin Smith's films.
That's
I
so
love
funny.
Probably
Chasing
my
Amy.
favorite.
That's I just haven't
That's
watched that
funny.
one a lot.
It needs to be watched a
I
lot.
should. Yeah, I would have. Oh. But no,
if nothing else, for the line of "What's a Nubian?" It is one of the all-time great movie lines.
what bums me out the most, you know, with the death of Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker.
Nope, Darth Vader.
Okay, Darth Vader. Is I think about, you know, how that scene played out, and you know how he did save his son, and how he was mortally wounded. And I always would go back. It's one of those things where, you know, especially, and maybe I was emotionally invested at that time when I first saw Return of the Jedi.
Hard not to be.
Because it hurt. Because I was like, you know, maybe if things would have worked out just slightly different, we could have had Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker and Luke Skywalker moving forward together.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
And that's
Sorry.
it's one of those, and it's one of them.
My knee is killing me. Sorry.
It's one of them situations where you have these slight things that cause major outcomes, right? And to me it's always been the what if thing, like, you know, what if we could have moved forward with Anakin Skywalker and Luke Skywalker taking on the Empire, right?
You need to write Marvel comics and have them do a series of Star Wars what ifs.
Yeah.
Some fan
But
fiction.
it hurts, man. That hurt back when we were kids. Because
And
we finally got him where we want. We got him back.
Right, Luke was right, and
Yeah, we got him back, man.
Right.
I actually remember being disappointed when I was a kid.
Really?
that he died.
I didn't like that they redeemed him.
Oh, okay,
Because he was the stuff of nightmares for me.
right.
Still is.
But see,
And then-
he was replaced with Emperor.
But he wasn't, because the Emperor's down a garbage chute.
Well, but see the thing. Okay,
they
the
say
Emperor
he
is
threw him over.
literally my favorite character in the Star Wars universe. Emperor Palpatine.
Oh, Palpatine?
Palpatine?
Yeah, Palpatine is the fucking shit. Okay, and where you get to actually see him be the manipulative cunt that he is when
Wow.
well
Language.
he is.
Whoa.
Anyways, is when he does his monologue down the stairs, and he's like, you know, strike him down and all this stuff, and
Strike
he's like,
him
if you don't, then
down
I
with
will,
all
and you
your
can
hatred.
actually see him like frothing at the mouth, like I want.
He's
Vader.
excited.
Yeah,
He's
so
excited.
excited, and he's like, this was the whole purpose.
Well, that's
he
what I was
found
gonna
out
say.
he doesn't give a shit about Anakin when he was Anakin, or when he just saw
He's a
Anakin
tool.
as a
He's a
tool.
tool. He's a
right.
tool.
And so when
Yes,
he
the Emperor
finally
is a tool.
finally sees Luke's rage, he's like, I got him, you know? And then
Well,
then
and you
well, that's-
have this full story arc of the Skywalker legacy leading up to that one point.
right, yeah. And
Where
the
the
Emperor,
Emperor's
he's
the-
foreseen it, you know, and like it's just it's so incredible how I think honestly in that moment that's when Vader realizes that that he was just a puppet, and that's all he really needed was just the validation that he had children, because he thought they died, and because Padme died, and that's what set him off, and just
Well, that should have been the big warning. You know, like he's like, wait a minute, I have a kid.
Yeah.
You said they were dead.
right, exactly. But well, you know,
Yeah.
he's Vader now, so he just kind of, you know, I think he didn't really probably get there because he wasn't face to face with Luke per se. You know, he was still fighting the fact that he was told that his children were dead, and you know, when they actually fight and he's like, I am your father. And then I think after that is when Vader was like, okay, here's where I feel it brewing a little bit. And then ever since then, you know, Luke's like, there's good in him. I know it. I can feel it. And I think that's when he sees the Emperor telling Luke to kill his own father. And Luke's like, no, I won't fight him. Like, you know, I'm not going to kill him. What are you, crazy?
Well,
and
that's
then,
the moment the Emperor realizes that he can't turn
right, that
Luke
he can't
either.
turn him. And then
Might as
that's
well
when
kill him.
that's when he loses Vader, I think. And then that's when Vader, you know, I think that's why, because he
Once
lost
Vader realizes
Right.
that his own son is stronger than he is,
Right, exactly.
you know, I think that was the turning point.
Right. It was like I'll sacrifice myself for you, and this is what a father should do, for
Well,
sure.
Hey, congratulations, you did one thing right in your life.
Well, that's what I'm
Right?
saying.
Yeah.
That's-
If I do anything right, it's to kill the Emperor. So
That's
you don't
definitely
turn
he's going to
evil.
level the playing field out of the horse shit that he did before, all the shitbag things he's pulled through
Yeah.
the, you know, through the first two films.
I only murdered entire planets, lots of children, whole bunches of Jedi, but I killed the Emperor, so it's all better now, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I fixed
All right,
it.
Fuck
Yeah.
it, whatever.
That balances the
I fixed
scales,
it.
right?
It's
Okay,
over.
all right, you fucking win. All right, point taken. Jesus Christ. I want to go
fixed it.
home. All right, I want my mom. I want to go home. No, we're cool. No, an incredible film.
I think, and I
You're
actually
right,
think
though.
that Jedi
dickhead.
is written better than Empire.
What's that?
Personally, I feel like Jedi is written better than Emperor. I mean, Empire.
I think Jedi is better written.
Yeah.
I think that the only downside for Jedi is the fairly wasted Ewok sequence.
I mean, I can see why. I still like it, but I get it.
Star Wars is pretty cool.
It is really cool. Honestly, the only thing that I can think of in the most recent years to have come out
I'm wanting
that
to
makes
quote Star Trek at you. So.
that can like meet the Star Wars phenomena might be the Harry Potter series.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't watched them all yet.
Oh, I fucking love Harry Potter. I might go as to say that is I'm like wishy-washy with the Star Wars Harry Potter and how invested I am in some of those characters.
Yeah?
Yeah, Harry Potter. I've seen Harry Potter all the way through. Couldn't even tell you how many times, and I cry every single time.
There's like
I know it's coming.
There's 4 scenes in especially in the last 2 Harry Potters.
Don't
that
even
every time
I can't. I seriously cannot. I saw a
every
necklace
time.
that
Kill
said
me.
something from one of the films, and I immediately started crying, and I was like, "Well, looks like I have to buy that now."
Yeah.
Just the one line, and I thought about it, and it's
Yeah.
like I'm thinking about it now, and I can't even.
Yeah.
It's just too much. I can't. It's so good. But that's as close that I think in the most recent years, the Harry Potter series.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
As
know,
far as scale.
yeah,
a
and as far
story.
as like waiting in line and gathering up and meeting people who also want to know what's going on
And attachment.
yeah, for sure.
I mean,
And now
for
that
us
we have
as kids, it was Star Wars.
for sure.
It was indie.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like seriously, after motion picture, it was all pretty good.
Oh, Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I love all those films.
I like all of them except for there's a couple in there that
yeah.
make me want to gouge up my
Nothing wrong with
eyes.
the
Yeah.
voyage. Nothing wrong with the voyage home. Come on. Man.
Oh, Voyage Home is one of the highlights.
I love
Yeah, it is. I love that movie.
it. A lot of people like
I
the
love
shit
that
on
movie.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
All right, let's call it a night.
Yeah, we're going to call it a night, guys. This was our episode on the original Star Wars trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be on iTunes later tonight. On
Great discussion,
Podbean.
Trevor.
Check
Thank
it
you
out
for all
on
that
Facebook.
information, man.
Thanks for
Thanks,
watching.
Trevor.
Thanks for coming out, Trevor.
Yeah.
We will
Yeah.
definitely have you back
Anytime,
soon.
anytime.
Other than that, we are out of here. Be here next week for episode 84. We have no idea what it's about yet.
Not a clue.
Yeah.
Peace.
Throw some ideas on our Facebook page.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Give
We got
us-
any
what do you
ideas
want
for
us to
next
talk
podcast?
about?
Let us know.
Yeah,
That's a good
we're
idea.
nerds,
All right.
man. We'll do it.
Bye.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap.
No, you ruined it. Now everybody's just gonna delete the download.
Visit us at www.themoviesleuth.com and find The Movie Sleuth on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and iTunes.